To rebuild a shattered economy from scratch, we have to start by understanding the basic building blocks, the different types of businesses. The first stage is the primary sector. This includes any business that extracts raw materials directly from the earth, like farming, fishing, or mining. Next is the secondary sector. These are the manufacturers and construction firms. They take all of those raw materials and turn them into finished products, like refining metal into starship parts. Finally, we have the tertiary sector. These businesses provide services, either to the general public or to other companies. Think of retailers, bankers, and doctors. A surgeon provides a vital service, but they can't work without a hospital built of concrete or tools forged from steel. Every service eventually traces its roots back to the factories building the equipment and the people pulling the raw resources from the earth. Now, who owns these businesses? Most fall into the private sector. These are owned by everyday individuals, and their main goal is simple: earn a profit. On the flip side is the public sector. These organizations are entirely owned and funded by the government. Instead of chasing profits, their goal is to provide essential services to everyone, like public schools and healthcare. Here is an important distinction to remember for your exams. A public limited company might sound like it belongs to the government, but it doesn't. It is a private business that just sells its shares to the general public. A healthy economy needs both. It relies on the private sector to drive innovation and create wealth, while the public sector ensures that essential services remain accessible to everyone. Beyond what a business does, its physical size dictates its strengths and its vulnerabilities. Let's start with the smallest setups. Look at these hands holding harvested mushrooms. Small agricultural startups like this one have distinct advantages. They adapt to changes in the market quickly. They are easy to manage, and they build highly personalized relationships with their customers. But running a small firm is tough. Statistically, they face the highest risk of failure, largely because it is incredibly difficult to secure enough startup capital from banks to keep the business operating. Large firms avoid that problem through economies of scale. By producing goods in massive quantities, they can buy materials in bulk and use highly specialized machinery. This drives down the cost to produce each individual item. But growing too big carries its own danger, called diseconomies of scale. When a company becomes massive, communication breaks down, coordination gets messy, and workers often feel disconnected. As a result, the average cost to produce things actually starts to go back up. Endless growth is not a guaranteed path to success. The most successful firms find the sweet spot, balancing the cost savings of buying in bulk against the heavy drag of a massive bureaucracy. So how does a firm actually get bigger? One way is external growth. This is a rapid expansion where a business merges with or completely takes over another company. When competing soft drink makers join forces, they create a dominant player. If they reach back and buy the fruit farms, they secure raw materials. They might even reach forward to buy the vending machine company, gaining total control over sales. In some cases, a firm might decide to buy an entirely unrelated business, like a soft drink company buying a hotel chain, just to spread its financial risk across different industries. Mergers offer a rapid shortcut to gaining market power. But remember our earlier lesson, combining massive companies learns the severe risk of triggering diseconomies of scale if the new giant entity cannot be managed effectively. All of these concepts, sectors, sizes, and mergers are tied together by an invisible network called the chain of production. Primary sector firms might pull valuable resources from the ground, but they rely entirely on secondary sector factories to actually process those materials into something useful. In turn, those massive factories need the tertiary sector. They depend on logistics services to transport their finished goods and retail shops to sell them to the final consumer. For your exams, do not just memorize these definitions. Practice applying these concepts, like identifying which sector a business belongs in, or classifying the type of merger it just completed, to real-world companies. The success of a city hospital depends on the utility companies that provide its power, which in turn depend on the miners who extract the fuel. Every business, small or large, is a link in a chain that keeps the economy moving.